Thanks for making this Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. Do us a favor, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell for notifications, upvote the video, and comment as well. In this extra edition, we're going to talk a little Major League Baseball. This is part of our National Championship to the Detroit Tigers series that we've done a couple of times preceding this. So we're going to talk about my experience 1 month in to this first Major League Baseball season that I have been back for in nearly 30 years. And I can tell you right now, it's been a blast. It really has. All of this has been an experience for me that has been really fun. I needed something besides Ole Miss to occupy my mind, to make everything go a little bit smoother, so to speak. So it was a really nice change of pace, and everybody's like, hey, why did you choose the Tigers? I've explained that in previous videos as well. So if you want to go back to that, you can see how I got to this point. But I am really enjoying this part. I've watched every game this season. I've seen a lot of teams around Major League Baseball. And the first thing that I need to say is the rule changes are awesome. Baseball had become essentially an unwatchable product according to the shift. I hate the shift. You saw teams using it against Ole Miss baseball pretty consistently. So I was really nervous about taking the next step to Major League Baseball, because the only thing that would happen with the shift in Major League Baseball is that they would be better at it. And so it would be difficult. And you saw the average of ground balls and now the average of ground balls this year. The rules changes are awesome and they're working. 2 players on either side of second base. That just means the infielders have to be a little bit more athletic. You're not going to see any second basemen anymore that are 250 pounds. It just is what it is. And the pitch clock. I love the pitch clock. I'd hated what games had become to where I think Texas A&M, when they played Ole Miss last year, the game was over 4 hours long. You watch a Major League Baseball game right now, I've seen games end under 2 hours, and the average time is about 2:15 to 2:30. If you can fill that window, if a baseball game is that, baseball has a chance to make a serious comeback in American sports culture. It just is. And I've had fun the first month. The first impressions overall is the Tampa Bay Rays break teams. They're basically what the Tennessee Volunteers were in college baseball last year. They just break teams. That happened. Detroit got swept by them the first 3 games of the season. They started 2-9. Since then, they're 15-10. They're just breaking teams at this point. So that's interesting to honestly pay attention to moving forward. The Orioles are good. If the Tigers were in the American League East, they'd be like 4 games below last place. The American League East is no joke. The Centrals, both NL and AL, they don't impress me much. I don't know too much about the West. I have gotten to see Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, and I've been really impressed by them. I just hate that they're on the West Coast, and I'm on the East Coast for full disclosure, and staying up to 10:30 is not something I'm going to do to watch an athlete play a sport of any kind. So we need them to go to the East Coast for me to catch them. The Astros, Jordan Alvarez, one of my favorite hitters to watch. There's several players that have popped up, just really fun players to watch. So I'm having fun doing all this. Nothing's going to change. I made the right call with what I'm doing being a Detroit fan. This team is maddeningly frustrating, but they are so fun to watch. It's a situation to where they can just implode or they can do something silly. They're extremely frustrating. So whenever it goes really well, it's all aces for them. You have such a good time watching them play ball, and I am truly enjoying that. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk a little bit about this resurgence that the Detroit Tigers have gone through after a month in the season. After that 2-9 start, we'll talk about where they are now. We do have a tweet we want to put up. Like I said, we're not going to get into the weeds too much here. We're still early on, but we do want to talk about it, and it's kind of fun, right? So if you're looking for a delicious snack but do not want all the sugar and calories, then I you need the best tasting protein bar ever built. You got to try this. If you're like me and you want a healthier snack choice, but you don't want to compromise on taste, I've got just the thing for you. Built Bars and Built Puffs. Built Bars are healthy and taste amazing. Seriously, they're so amazing. You won't even think they're good for you. You got to try this. What makes them so good? Well, for starters, they're covered in 100% real dark chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. And they come in unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, cookies and cream. Really, you can't go wrong there. I'm not sure how they do it, but they taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. What's even better is that they're healthy, on 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait to get a box. For years, we've been telling you to go with LockedOn15 as the promo code to Built.com and get all of your orders delivered to you. But now you can go to your local Walmart or Sam's Club, and while you can still get your specialty flavors at Built.com. That's right. Head to your nearest Walmart today, walk to the pharmacy section, and grab yourself a box of Built Bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, and coconut puffs. If you're close to a Sam's Club, you can run in and grab a 13-bar box with our hit flavor brownie batter puff and churro puff. You can thank me later. All right, thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. Every day is tomorrow on the show, which would be Saturday morning. Brian Smith comes on for his debut as the Locked On recruiting analyst. That should be really good and something everybody should tune in for as well, in my opinion. So let's talk about this turnaround that the Detroit Tigers have made in the first month of the season. They started out 2-9. I explained the Rays broke them for whatever it is. I do like watching the Rays play. Randy Arozarena is one of my favorites out there to just watch play baseball at this point. But once they got it right, it was a game in Toronto, I do believe, to where Javi Baez had a problem. He was in a slump to start the season. He got caught not paying attention on the base paths. He got doubled up, and he got benched that night. That was the 9th of the 2-9. After that point, he's hitting about 1,000 OPS, about a 300 hitter, and he's not striking out, and the Detroit Tigers are 15-10. It's absolutely a ludicrous thing. But the thing we need to keep in mind is exactly this. We talk about Javi Baez, and we talk about all the reasons to be excited for what Detroit is doing, but it's mainly the young guys. Looking at Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson and their resurgence, or I guess surgence, in the month of April, late April, early into May, has been the story of this team so far. These are two players that were really high draft picks back in the day, and a lot is expected of them. Two really, really young players. And it kind of lets you know they've tried. Casey Mize is on the roster. Everybody that is familiar with Ole Miss is familiar with Casey Mize. Jackson Jobe is in the minor league system. He is having a lower back problem at the moment, but everybody at Ole Miss would be familiar with Jackson Jobe as well. The Tigers have the 3rd pick in the Major League Baseball draft, which is in about, 60 days, 45 days, sometime around there. I think it's early July. Locked On Tigers is probably going to have a ton of coverage on that, and they're going to do a lot of stuff there. The Tigers pick 3rd. That's probably a little bit too high to get Jacob Gonzalez. Looks like Jacob Gonzalez will go 6th or 7th in that draft. It looks like Wyatt Langford is the favorite to fall to that position, which is fine. His numbers are outstanding this season. With Dylan Cruz going to the Pirates, and I think Paul Skeens going to the Nationals. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens with the Major League Baseball draft. This will be one of the first drafts that I've paid attention to really closely. So I might pay to 2nd-round picks, 3rd-round picks. Who do we get? Can we get that player? Did we reach too much? I'm going to pay attention to all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, if this year's draft class, this year's 1st-round pick, if it's Wyatt Langford, produces the way Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson has in the month of May, the Tigers are going to be in good shape. And I am in Winter Haven, Florida, which means I'm 15 miles up the road from Lakeland, Florida, where the Tigers A-ball affiliate is. So whoever the Tigers draft, I'm at least going to get a quick glimpse of what they look like. So I'll go put eyes on them myself. So I appreciate you humoring me a little bit. This has been the path from an Ole Miss National Championship to a Detroit Tigers fan. How baseball, my love for baseball, was reinvigorated by the 2022 Rebels and how it's expanded into Major League Baseball. I just wanted to document this journey because essentially I started from scratch throughout old ties, went to the Tigers, and now we're seeing as we're growing fairly quickly with a baseball fan. And if you are looking for a way to follow your baseball team, Major League Baseball has Locked On podcasts for all of them. They all do a fantastic job. And you would see. I highly recommend that whoever you are a fan of, you follow that Locked On podcast for a daily update of what's going on with your Major League Baseball team. It's really, really cool indeed. Anyway, thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. Every day is tomorrow on the show. Brian Smith, going to talk recruiting. We're going to get back to Ole Miss. I appreciate everybody humoring me a little bit today. We're going to get to Ole Miss tomorrow morning. We'll have Brian Smith. We'll have our post-spring report cards. We'll have the Chris Childers interview up as well this weekend. This weekend is 3 videos a day. I worked an obscene amount of time this week. Should be a lot of fun. I'm enjoying doing all of this. So next week, we have an interview that is going to be a surprise for everybody. I hope it all works out. And we're coming close to starting our NIL interviews with Jason Simmons of Dead Soxy. He's going to come on and talk about what's going on in the NIL game. And he also is going to tell you a great place to get NIL socks and socks in general. That is Dead Soxy, Jason Simmons. Follow him on Twitter if you don't mind. So, hope everybody had a good time. Enjoy this weekend. It should be a lot of fun for everyone. I will catch you later. Take care.